Basically, there's a couple different bikes in the scooter scene that are kind of considered holy grails for some, like if it's like serious collectors. The handlebar bike is one of those bikes that, everyone kind of strives to hope to find in a garage or a barn somewhere that they can restore because they're pretty rare. And basically, it's just like old bicycle handlebars that you're steering with instead of, the modern kind of headsets that are on bikes now. I am Stuart Adamson, and this is my 1954 Allstate that I just finished restoring. I've been in the scooter scene in Victoria for about, I would say 11 years, maybe about 10 or 11 years. Basically what I wanted to do is I wanted a modern bike that looked super old school. Sears got together with Vespa and Piaggio in the 1950s because of the popularity of scooters in Italy and around Europe and said, well, we can start selling this here. So they brought over these Allstates, which are basically pared down, no frills scooters, and started selling them at Sears. And you could get them for super cheap. And they were very popular. You couldn't get them in Europe, the Allstate model, so they're collector pieces now. You're sitting up super high. There's like old tractor springs on the seat. It's like riding a pogo stick down the road. It's like a big giant Cadillac pogo stick. I had a friend in Campbell River who is a real estate agent. He found it in a basement covered in years of dust. What he was told was that it was sitting down there since 1960. He found it 3 years ago, bought it, brought it to his garage. He was going to do something with it but couldn't. So I got it off of him, and it took me about 14 months to what it is right now. I stripped it down all the way, to every nut and bolt off of the thing, sanded it, sandblasted parts, just everything. New paint, new motor, got a new motor in there. The type of motor I put in there is called an LML. It's made in India right now, and they're dirt cheap. They're cheaper than rebuilding original motors almost. It's almost worth it to get a brand new motor with the better power and electronic ignition. The only problem is that these motors don't fit in these bikes. So there was lots of carving, and that was a decision I made. A lot of people were like, you can't cut into it. I was like, well, you know what, it's my bike. I want this motor in there, so that's what I'm gonna do. So that's what I did. I wanted an old handlebar bike with a new motor, and that's exactly what I got. With lots of sweat and tears and a little bit of blood, I managed to do it. What I wanted to do is really try and do as much work as I could myself, but I'm no painter, and I can't sew leather. So I found some local guys, and what it was is this guy Jim at JB Auto Body on Oak Street. He did the painting, and he does it kind of in his own garage and out of his own little spray booth that he made, and he gave me an awesome deal, and he did a phenomenal job painting it. And the seat, there's this place called the Upholdery, and this guy, again, he's doing it out of his garage. I took him a couple scraps of leather and the original seat that was on there, and it was just beat to shit, and he came up with this seat on there, and it's like old school sewing. It's just phenomenal. Why did I get into scooters? I just love their lines, like the design, the purpose of them. Like after the war, they took these airplane tires and put them on, scooter bodies, and people were getting around. People were able to go from town to town and visit people and have fun and stuff like that. And it was just a good, cheap mode of transportation for people, and it really opened up like the countryside. And how can you resist? I mean, they're just so cool.